Shalom, Shalom, Kohaloyim, La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Kodash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name is Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son. His true name is Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit, the Rakak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom to you fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. Shalom to the few Akwatium that believe as well. Also a hearty shalom to you other laborers and believers that are scattered throughout the face of the earth, whether you be among the heathen, any of them like the heathen, which are the speckled bird Israelites, to the whole household of faith. I want to say shalom, which is the elect. Back at you with another quick, Lord willing, edifying lesson. And I'm getting more into this history, or back into the history, which, one of my favorite things to get into history, and Lord willing is edifying, we've been in Babylon, being oppressed by these Edomites. And right now, the Lord is really lifting up the skirt on America, okay, which is Babylon, okay, and everything is coming out about what can happen to us, all right, under these modern day Babylonians, which are the Edomites, Salakia, all right, the Edomites, which is synonymous with Psalms, the 137 chapter, where it links Edom and the daughter of Babylon, okay. The modern day Babylonians are the Edomites, okay. That's why it says right here, the version, daughter of Babylon, okay, which is synonymous with the Edomites, okay. So let's get to the, I'll start at the top. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. See? There's there's no honor, all right, upon the daughter of Babylon. Okay? It's all a shameful spewing on the glory, all right, of this place. Okay? From what it did to us, the Lord's people, all right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American people, which are the Israelites, and also, the unrighteous, all right, ways of living, okay, that it pushes on the whole world, all right. So verse 2, it says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. All right, and that's what we're doing, man. All right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we're literally, all right, the Lord literally working on our minds, our spirits to bring out receipts on Babylon for what it did to us northern tribes and also the southern tribes. All right, so the whole nation collectively, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American people, all right, that makes up the 12 tribes of Israel. So there's a shame, all right, and then the shame is being seen, okay, more and more each day, all right, each week, each month, that this place is holding on for dear life, before the Lord destroy it, So without any further ado, let's get into the article, right? On this day, April the 13th, 1873, armed white mob, which they're not white, okay? And the Bible calls them red, okay? As their forefather Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. See? So they're not white, which means clean or pure. All right, they're red, okay? The Edomites, Edom means red, man. Literally, it means red. Okay? It says armed Edomite mob kills 150 black, which they're not black, so-called Negro. Right? Which are who? The tribe of Judah. All right? Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourned in the gates thereof language. They are black unto the ground, and the crowd of Jerusalem is going up. So the so-called blacks or Negroes are what? The tribe of Judah. All right. To be black unto the ground means what? To be dark like unto the ground. The ground is different shades of brown. Okay. All right. So armed Edomite mob kills 150 Judites, citizens. All right. After gubernatorial election in Colfax, Louisiana. All right. It says on April 13, 1873, Easter Sunday, a mob of hundreds of white, which again they're Edomites, men killed an estimated 150 Judites, or just it was men and women, so 150 Judites, while attacking the Grant Parish courthouse in Colfax, Louisiana. Many of the Judite victims were murdered in cold blood after surrendering. Only three Edomite men died. The Colfax massacre was precipitated by the hotly contested 1872 Louisiana gubernatorial election. And here it is, you so-called blacks, which are the tribe of Judah. Again, you go out and vote. All right, which really, you shouldn't go out and vote, because voting, first of all, your vote don't count. And then voting in these political elections never have benefited you. See? That's why the scripture says this in the book of Isaiah. All right, let's go here. Isaiah 30. I'll start at verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt," which is what? Spiritual Egypt, which is America. Okay, Revelation 11:8, spiritual Sodom in Egypt, right? "That walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked in my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh," which the modern day Pharaoh is who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. "And to trust in the shadow of Egypt," right? The government of Egypt, which have always been oppressing you. Right? Verse 3, "Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." Okay, that's why you never receive any justice from this system, because why? It was never meant for you to receive justice. Okay? When you go to the curses, right? In Deuteronomy 28 chapter, right? Let's get this real quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 33, it says, and when you read up to verse 15, right? It says this: "But it should come to pass," right? The subheading is consequences for disobedience. On the NLT, it says curses for disobedience, right? "But it should come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of the Lord thy power," all right, Yahweh thy power, "to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." All right, so there are prophetic curses that happen to the children of Israel, all right, the 12 tribes of Israel, all right, that you can clearly see, all right, because as it is written, it's that these curses are going to be a sign upon us, all right. So these curses are a sign upon us that you can see that we were cursed, or we're under the curses rather, all right, that the Heavenly Father put on us for being disobedient, and the whole world can see that, man. That's why the whole heathen nations are collectively, they can take advantage of us. Because why? We're under these curses. All right, now we're at the end of these curses, but yet and still we're still in captivity. All right, we haven't been liberated and freed and made sovereign. All right, as a people, man, because we wait on our deliverer, which is Yahweh Shai. So verse 33, it says, "The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always." See? And this happened when they would besiege Jerusalem. All right. And also when the people of Jerusalem, which is the so-called Negro Latino Americans, when we are in captivity, captivity is what? Slavery. And in slavery, all right, you're oppressed, right? So when you go to the online etymology, right? Let's get here. Right, oppress. It says to press unduly upon or against, overburden, weigh down. Uh, Also figuratively, overwhelm, overpower, of sickness, grief, right? And we grieved in this land, man. Burdened with cruel, unjust, or unreasonable restraints. See? And Esau, Edom is unjust. Okay? And he's very cruel to us, right? And that links up with what? It says it right there in Isaiah the 19th chapter, I believe it is. Let's see here. Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. See? And and that cruel Lord is who? Esau. Esau rules over Egypt. Again, Esau is the modern day Pharaoh, man. See? So that's what it means, man. A cruel Lord is going to what? Put a heavy burden on you, all right, with cruelty. He's going to deal unjustly. Okay? and my, have you seen that? Okay? It says, treat with injustice or undue severity. Right. That's why you don't have any justice in Babylon. You know, you so-called Negroes and you so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, especially the so-called Negro being the head tribe, Judah. Right. Keep down by an unjust exercise of power. See, oppress, afflict, torment, smother. All right. And this all happened under, all right, Esau, Edom. All right. Ever since he came over here in the late 1400s, I own them up to now. All right. Because the late 1400s was what? They're doing the Renaissance period. Then he came over here. All right. Starting with Christopher, so-called Christopher Columbus. Cristobal Colon, right? His original name. And then what? It ended up more Spaniards and conquistadors came over here. And then eventually they brought the Southern Kingdom over here, 1619. And what? We've been oppressed, man. Collectively as a whole nation, man. We've been oppressed, man. And we haven't had any ease. Okay, this is Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, which what? That's the southern kingdom and northern kingdom together, right? The northern tribes we were known as Israel or Ephraim, right? It says in the children of Judah, which is the southern kingdom, right, led by Judah, right? It says we're oppressed together. Now, we know Jeremiah lived during the time of the Babylonians. So as he's prophesying, we were not together. We had been split up. The Assyrians had already taken us away into captivity. Okay? So it wasn't talking about back then. Because the Assyrians took us away, us northern tribes, and then the Babylonians, all right, came up against the southern kingdom and took them away captives. And then what? They was there, all right, roughly 68 and a half years. You know, it'd say 70, so it was close to that, right? But still, the southern kingdom went into Babylonian exile or captivity, all right, but they returned. And as northern tribes overwhelmingly, you know, the majority of us never returned. You had sprinkles of us that went back, but a lot of us never returned. We went to a land that never mankind dwelt, which is the Americas. as you know them as today. Okay, so it says the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. So where we're being oppressed together at? Right here in Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon, which is America. Right here in spiritual Egypt. See? It says what? We're captives. What's a captive? A captive is a slave, man. Baruch 3 and 8 should come to mind, right? Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, right? This is the word captive. It says made prisoner, enslaved. Look, enslaved. Period, man. Okay? We are literally slaves, man. You know? Let's go back to the article and read more, okay? It says, during the Reconstruction era, as many newly emancipated so-called Black Americans began mobilizing and participating in politics, while communities determined to reinforce white supremacy began terrorizing so-called Black people through acts of brutal violence. And see, emancipated itself means what? To hand over or to transfer as property. See? And that's exactly what happened to the so-called Negro, Latino, and American people. We were handed over as property to what? The elites. So not only were we slaves already to the so-called local Edomite slave owners, right? All right, the so-called white slave owners, right? Which are really Edomites. Now we became corporate slaves to the elites, to the to the wealthy of the Edomites. Which, by the way, go back to Amalek, which they was the ones that financed the whole slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, it was financed by the JOOWs, man. Okay, but it said what? They were terrorizing Jake through acts of brutal violence. See? The so-called white man is the real terrorist. It's no secret, man. He going around the earth terrorizing all the nations, man. But anyway, let's continue. And it says, after the 1872 election, when the federal judge declared William Kellogg the winner, he began making opponents to fill local parish offices. Meanwhile, Governor Kellogg's Edomite supremacist opponent, John McHenry, and his supporters declared McHenry the winner of the election. In the ensuing unrest, so-called Black voters who supported Governor Kellogg staged a peaceful occupation. Yeah, Jake was rooting for these devils. See? Surrounding the Grant Parish Courthouse and other municipal buildings and coal factories to prevent Mr. McHenry's supporters from taking them over. See? Jake standing up for the devil. And what happened? You were cut down, man. It says, in response, more than 300 armed Edomite men attacked the courthouse building to forcefully remove Governor Kellogg's so-called Black supporter, or Jake supporters. When the Edomite mob aimed a cannon to fire on the courthouse, some of the 60 Jake defenders fled. Others surrendered then, and more surrendered after the courthouse was set on fire. Many surrendering, unarmed Jake men were nevertheless shot and killed by the Edomite mob, some while fleeing. See? After the massacre, the federal government indicted over 100 members of the Edomite mob under the Enforcement Act of 1870. The law was specifically enacted during Reconstruction to protect newly so-called free Jake voters from the terrorist threats of the Ku Klux Klan, and which by the Ku Klux Klan was that was created by the Small Hats, man. Judah P. Benjamin. All right, look that history up, and he was financed by the Rothschilds, man. All right, they're the what's it? Meyer Amschel Bauer. You look up their history. All right, he see the Small Hats. They'll try to play the background role, but they're really the forefront of our oppression. I remember doing a video on Judah P. Benjamin, and they had me put an age limit on it because it was all facts I was bringing out. Because why? The Lord, all right, will have war with Amalek from generation to generation, man. Okay, and this is why you look into the main atrocities that happen to our people. It's mainly Amalek at the forefront. Okay, this is Let me see here. Bapu shot me. Type this in. Hello. Let's get this. Exodus 17 and verse 16. For he said, because Yahweh had sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So Amalek, which is a direct descendant of Esau, Edom, all right, through Esau's son, all right, he's of the house of Esau, Edom. He's the head tribe of the Edomite nation, man, which are the Small Hatters, the 1948ers, okay? The ones that are the JOW-ish people. That's all they're your main lobbyists. They influence the legislation or unrighteous decrees here in Babylon. Right? They're at the head of that, man. See? So the Lord is going to really do something to you Small Hats, man. Okay? It says, where I'm at. After the massacre, the federal government indicted. Okay. It says the law was specifically enacted during Reconstruction to protect newly freed so-called black, which is Jake voters, from the terrorist threats of the Ku Klux Klan and other disgruntled Edomite Southerners. Only 3 members of the mob were convicted and they appealed. Right, because why? Ultimately, this is their law. This is their system. Okay? It's nothing for Edomite to get off and be scot-free from doing any injustice things to you. All right, anything that's done to you, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American people, is swept under the rug because why? They hate you. Okay? Zechariah 11 and 5, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Now, you better believe back in these times they were let off when they appealed it. See? They appealed it, and you better believe they got off, man. Look at this. On March 27, 1876, in the United States versus Cruikshank, the Supreme Court issued a ruling dismissing charges against the 3 Edomite men. The court held that the 14th Amendment was only a protection against the state actions and did not empower the federal government to punish the acts of one citizen towards another not clearly motivated by racial animus. See? In the eyes of the court, racialized political violence did not qualify. See? So let's read it again. It says, Zechariah 11 and 5, whose possessors slay them, murder them, right, and hold themselves not guilty. And this is a prime example of that. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. You know, and 'cause they set up these fake ass so-called black and brown leaders, which don't really give a shit about you, man. They all sold out to Esau, man. They all set out for that little bag. That's why you got the COINTELPRO and all that, right? Infiltrators of your own people that sell you out, man, to Esau to overthrow you, man. But the point is, you know, the possessors, which are the owners, because really they own us right now by way of what? Our paperwork they got on us. You know, your social security card, your birth certificate, what have you, right? Those are your bond papers. See, hey, slaves, all right, you go back to the history of slaves, there always been bond papers on slaves. Your modern day bond papers are your social security number and your birth certificate. When you were born, your parents signed that birth certificate. They literally sell you away to the elites, to these goddamn Amalekites, these small hats, man. Okay? And they used, in this situation, man, they used their own law to justify their own wickedness towards you Jakes, man. And you Jakes still to this day vote, man. You know? But nonetheless, you know, they put their hands on the apple of the Lord's eye. Okay? So no matter what, they're going to be dealt with. Here it is, you're fresh off the plantation and they terrorizing you, man. And who started it? You goddamn Amalekites, man. And when you bring these things up, you're anti-Sem. You're anti-Sem. And here it is, most of the nations come out of the Shem. That's what the word Sem go back to, Shem. See? And the main people of Shem that the Lord is dealing with, or only dealing with, actually, to be honest, is the children of Israel. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Let's prove that. All right, Psalms 147 and verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them, praise ye the Lord. When you read the NLT, it says, he has revealed his words to Jacob, his decrees and regulations to Israel. Verse 20, he has not done this for any other nation. They do not know his regulations, which is what? The laws, man. So no other nation, any other nation knows the laws of the Most High or have a exclusivity. All right. They don't have that kind of dealing with the Most High. See, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua deal with his people, man. And you heathens are nothing before the Most High. Okay? You're like the drop that falls off from a bucket of water. You're insignificant, in other words. He don't deal with you, man. Other than to afflict us for being disobedient to him. But you forward the affliction. See, Jake was fresh off the plantation, right? As it said, what? Newly freed, right? Where'd it go? It says newly freed, right? Where'd that point go right there? It says they were newly freed, man. And they assembled in a peaceful protest. Okay? Yeah, right, look at this. Newly freed. See? Newly freed, but yet you're being yet you're being terrorized. That's forwarding your affliction, man. You know, you being a slave and just working for, to survive, take care of your family, that wasn't good enough. They had to make sure they put extra hell upon you, man. That's why we're going to put extra hell upon you, Edomites in the kingdom. All right, beginning with the tribe of Judah. And the rest of the tribes, we're going to put the hell upon you. All right, in righteousness, man. Okay? And show you that this devil's law, all right, is just totally unrighteous, man. This is Psalms 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? Yeah, man. And you read the NLT, it's kind of more plainer, right? It says, can unjust leaders claim that the Most High is on their side? Leaders whose decrees permit injustice? Those 3 Edomite men got off. That's injustice. They murdered 150 Israelites, man. See? Verse 21, they gang up against the righteous and condemn the innocent to death. That's what happened, bro. and to this day, you Jake talking about, justice, reparations, all that shit. No, you won't get that. Why? Because Micah 2:10 says what? Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Our rest is in the kingdom of heaven. But that start with the 144,000 and the rest of the remnant, man, that believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that have returned when Yahweh Bashim Yahushua called, right? Because the rest of you still think to this very day that voting is going to change your lives. When all you're going to receive is injustice right here in Babylon, so-called America. But only the elect is going to see this, man. Because to this day, you so-called Negroes go out there and vote, man. Only the remnant is going to wake up and return, right? Isaiah 10:20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, the Holy One of Israel in truth. Right? So, this is the reason why you have, those of us that truly believe in our power, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, we return, man. We return and we have, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, condemn this place for all the atrocities that they have committed against us, man. We can't, not we came, but hey, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua brought us out of this fucking madness. All right, this system. All right, that we was in this world. We was probably going to college or whatever, athletes, whatever aspirations you had in life. All right, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua drew you in using his word, man. The Lord used his word to reel you in from this world. Because why? You was chosen from the foundation of the earth to be a part of his elect. And you was quickened with the spirit of truth. And now you're in your right mind and you understand that this place have always been, all right, your destruction. But it wasn't meant for you to be destroyed right here in this land. It was meant for you to return, right? Verse 21, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. See? For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, right, we're many, right? We're a big fucking nation, man. No nation on earth is bigger than us, man. It says, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. So only a remnant is going to return, which is a small number. Okay? That's why the camps is not, large size, as compared to how many Israelites there is on earth, man. You have some camps bigger than others, but for the most part, when you factor in all the camps and you put them together, it's still a small number compared to the whole nation that's here on earth right now. As far as the ones that's down here on earth. Okay? You can't count the stars of heaven. You can't count the sands of the sea. Which is what? Innumerable, man. You know? So you can't count us, man. But only a remnant is going to return. Only the remnant is going to understand that through Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, we're going to get true justice. Only the remnant have the mind set to rule over our oppressors. See? And this is how you know that ultimately Isaiah the 14th chapter ain't even take place yet. Because it says what? We're going to rule over our oppressors, right? And take them captives who took us captives, right? Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, right? The Lord is going to set us in our own land. By way of what? Using the chariots to save us from the destruction. And then you're going to see New Jerusalem coming out of the sky. All right, the strangeness of his salvation. Wisdom of Solomon in the 5th chapter, man. You know? It says, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, which is the Israelite foreigners. Okay? That's going to come out of all these different nations, okay? And be gathered by the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. See? That's a precept that come to mind. Let me see. I can find it real quick. Excuse me. That's literally going to happen for us, man. Let me see. Maybe Jeremiah. Book. Let me see here. Got that precept actually written down, which is literally prophecy, man. It's literally prophecy. All right, but the Lord is going to actually take us back to our land. Let me see. Let me see. Type this in right here. Because this is getting ready to happen. Maybe, is it Ezekiel 36? Yeah, that's what it was. This is Ezekiel 36 and verse 24. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land, right? Who is this talking about? It's talking about the children of Israel when you read up. Okay? See, Israel to be renewed for his name's sake. It's not all you heathen, man. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. All right, that's prophecy. Okay? The Lord is going to actually bring us into our own land by way of the so-called UFOs. Okay? It says, Isaiah 14:2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, which is what? Slaves. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right, this is prophecy, man. Because why? The Lord is going to award us with slaves, man. We're going to have slaves, bro. Like all you Akim out there and you Akwathim that believe, man, we gonna have slaves, yo. Like we slaves right now. Now we are, the worst part of slavery, but hey, we gonna literally have these heathen nations start with Esau, Edom, as slaves, man. Literally building up our walls, paving our roads, in gold, man. We're gonna have these heathen literally build up our kingdoms, man. You know, the Lord is gonna cause us to put hell upon these heathen, man, for everything they've done to us. That's how you know the people not in the land, because they don't have no fucking slaves over in the land of Israel right now. Why you're not ruling over your oppressors, man? If that's the case, you should be ruling over those fucking Germans, man. You say they oppressed you. If you were their captives, why you're not having them as captives right now if you've been liberated by the Lord, according to you? You're supposed to have slaves. A captive is a slave, an enslaved person or people. So we should be seeing slaves build up the land of Israel right now. But we don't see that because why? Prophecy haven't been fulfilled of the true people returning to that land. See? And the scriptures say what? That Jerusalem gate should not be closed day nor night. They're going to bring in the forces of the Gentiles, roughly paraphrasing, you know. We're going to have the best of the best. We're going to have slaves, man. Royal people have slaves. You can say servants. Servants is a nice way of saying slaves, man. We're going to have slaves, man. Okay? The ones that oppressed us and kept us down, we're going to have you oppressed and have you doing rigorous labor. Especially you goddamn Edomites, man. Okay? Jeremiah 30:16. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, man. Every lesson we do about history of the atrocities that we've done, that they've done to us, Salakia, it's only a small tip of the iceberg. Because to this very day, we're in captivity. Baruch 3:8 again. Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. See? Hey, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to return our we're gonna return from our captivity, and we're gonna have our oppressors in slavery, man. They're gonna be our captives, our slaves. We're gonna spoil them like they spoiled us. Now they're gonna be our prey, right? Verse 17, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. Saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because they have called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. See? The Lord's gonna literally give us glory and fame where we've been put to shame. But in the kingdom, we're gonna have you heathen, man, jacked up, man. You know? And we're still, what it says in the Exodus, he that stealeth the man, or if he be found in his hand, shall surely be put to death. We're found in your hand, man. So, hey, man, can't wait till the kingdom come. And we're going to get our true justice in the kingdom. That's where our justice is going to come from in the kingdom. When Yahweh shall come back and liberate us, man. You know? With that, hey, Lord willing, this lesson been edifying. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Shalom till next time.